Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and today I have got my first ever championship winning race. I've given it away already, but this is an absolutely brilliant race. It's the Moonshine Cup, which is hosted by Triple Crown Sim Racing League. A racing league that I am really proud and pleased to be racing with at the moment. We're at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta and we've got a grid of 13 cars for this one with some very stiff competition. We've got Greg White's in there, Welshboy, Danny 84, Hulky, so many different people. The host Rita is in here, Hulky's in here racing, and as we're sitting on the grid I'm just doing some last minute settings before the lights go green and we're off and running. The start was a bit iffy. I just managed to get between Greg White and Welshboy there, and I tried to go down the left hand side of Danny, but unfortunately he kept his foot in and got the inside line there. At this stage I'm thinking, crumbs, don't put it out on the grass, otherwise this race is all going to be over. It was over for a few people, as we will see in that particular corner. But the race was absolutely frantic. As you can see here, Danny and I both go for the middle of the track. We saw a way through on Greg and Welshboy. And then really it was just a drag to this line and to see who could be first through. I tried squeezing Danny, he wasn't having any of it. He held the inside line. I swept around the outside, being very careful not to get onto the grass. And as we came down the hill, Danny was in front. But I'm right behind. But I'm also very minded here that I've got Greg White right behind me, just 0.5 of a second. Welshboy just a little bit further behind as well. And, well, a big old snake of cars as we go down the hill and then up over the top, heading down towards the two right-handers. The 90 degrees is not quite a compound curve, but it is a very important corner. This one coming up, if you get this right, you can get a good drag along the long straight, and it's all important to get a good run out of there. Danny 84 got a great run out of there. I'm clinging hold of his back bumper as much as I possibly can through here. And Greg White right on the back of me. If you're enjoying this already, please smack the subscribe button, but keep that in mind as you watch through this race. If you like this video, please subscribe and please like the video. It really helps the channel as we come down towards the chicane. I take a move down the inside and I got that done. Danny just giving me enough room just to squeeze through, but Danny's right on that back bumper still as we go over the top of the hill, down the right-hander to start the second lap. So at the end of the first lap, it is Mitchell Morgan first, Danny 84 in second, Greg White in third. Hulky's made his way up into fourth, Welshboy's dropped down into fifth for the moment, and Danny gets past me as I go a little bit wide into that corner. So Danny is now in first, I'm second, Greg White in third, Hulky fourth, Welshboy fifth, Old Timer going well in sixth, Kustanov in seventh. I apologise if I'm not saying that name correctly. And at the moment, Franson Hank bringing up the last of the top eight. Obviously, we can't see the runners behind. Danny 84 picking up a penalty now. He's got a hard second, and I can see that thinking, okay, if we can just stay on the back of Danny as we go onto the long straight, then I should be able to gain a place as he serves that penalty, but very much aware that Greg is right on my back bumper as well. Hulky's in the mix too, as is Welshboy. The three cars we're going to focus on in this one is myself, Greg White and Welshboy. You'll understand why as we go through the race. Those are the three replays that I have picked up. We're just on board with Greg White now in the Mazda. You can see that his tyres are starting to wear just a little bit on the front, with plenty of tyres on the rear for this one. And you're going to see that tyres, I believe, it is going to factor into this one a little bit, I think, as we go through the race. I was certainly being careful with my tyres at this particular point of the race. I didn't want to burn them out too much, but even then you can see that I've got fairly even wear across the tyre range, and not that dissimilar from Greg. Pushing hard, I get a half-second penalty as we go through the first corner. That was a really silly mistake, and I was kicking myself because now I know that not only am I going to get, oh, we've got Mitchell going off, oh, hard into the wall, looks like he got onto the grass. Oh, that could have been equipment failure. He's just rolling back at the moment. Oh, that is a real shame. Just as we were looking at my penalty, I was was a little bit greedy on the way through, but it does now mean that Greg, Danny, maybe Holkey are going to get through. We'll see. We're on board with Welshboy now, looking at his tyres. They're looking pretty good in the Audi. They're a little bit worn on the fronts, the rear's looking pretty good. So it does look like this one is going to be a tyre muncher. Greg goes through as I serve the penalty. Does Danny go through as well? Welshboy setting purple sectors there, so Welshboy is flying right now, but I did manage just to keep it ahead of Danny down the long straight. Oh, Danny off on the grass there as you're going over the top. Oh, I think that let me, did that let me through? I can't remember if I was in front of Danny or not. I'm losing track of where we are, but at the moment, as we come up to start lap number 5, it is Greg White out front. I am in second, probably about half a second behind, but I've got Danny right on my back bumper. Holkey still running well in 4th and Welshboy 5th. Fransom Hank in 6th, Kustanov in 7th and Oldtimer in 8th. So you could see that this race was fairly, well, it was very, very clean in fact. There's no question about it, a very, very clean race. And you can see there that I just get my best lap going purple on lap number 4. I think that was probably the only time that I went purple. I've got a 1:27.475 is my fastest lap around here at the moment. Just coming around to start another run up the hill. This long straight is all important. And you can see here that Greg just pulling away, but I'm just trying to stay with him at the moment. Danny 84 still behind me, Holkey behind him, and then Welshboy. So it's all fairly settled at this point in the race as we come down towards the chicane. Hard on the brakes. You can see the brake disc glowing as we lean on them, just taking a little bit of the grass through there. Perfectly legal. You need to do that just to hook it up to get through there. And then we're going to come across to start lap number 5. So Greg White is going to lead us into that 5th lap, with me just a little bit further back in second. I felt I was dropping back a little bit here. Greg White obviously got the tyres on that Mazda really warmed up right now, and he's well and truly in the groove. And we're on board with Fransom Hank, who gets onto the grass as well, and the grass is going to claim another car into the barrier. That's 2 into the barrier so far. Not many incidents to pick out in this one, but those are 2 of the cars that yeah, you get on that grass and it just drifts out and out and out and out, and you're into the barrier before you know it. Greg's tyres looking really tired. That left-hand front tyre is well over halfway worn. The right-hand front tyre is approaching halfway. He's fine on the rears. No such issues for Welshboy. He's about a third worn on the fronts. Again, wearing that left-hand front tyre mostly. But the Audi going well in 5th, trying to close up on Holkey. Danny still in 3rd. I'm still 2nd, chasing down Greg White. You can see as we get into the chicane there, I did manage to close up a little bit. Holkey closing up on the back of Danny too. And this was my opportunity to try and make a move. You can see that my tyres, I am struggling a little bit on the front, but not as much as Greg. I didn't know Greg's tyre situation, but you can just see the concentration on my face. I certainly wasn't talking much in this one. Really needed to concentrate. You'll notice I've got headphones on, and I've also got my iPhone headphones on there. You can see the white wire hanging down. That's because we are listening to the chat room. You need to be in the chat room for this one, because cautions could be thrown within the first few laps. I think it's about the first 10 minutes before, or maybe, I can't remember how long it is. I'm enjoying the race too much. But there are cautions which can be thrown if 2 cars get into a tangle. They can throw a caution and everything all bunches up. Thankfully, no cautions at all in this race. But you're talking about bunching up, you can see I've got a great run on Greg White there. This again is why it is so important to get a good exit on that corner before we head up the hill. And you can already see that, Greg's coming back at me. He's right with me. There's nothing in it as we go down into the chicane. Greg White just putting a wheel on the grass. I think that unsettled the Mazda just a little bit, which gave me the corner. I think he was going to try and get one up the inside. Unfortunately, that didn't quite come off. So it is me out front at the moment, leading the pack. Greg White looks like he's dived into the pits. So lap 6, Greg I think was the first of the people to pit stop. His front tyre absolutely gone. At this stage I was thinking, okay, Greg's in the pit. Do I come in and pit, or do I push it a little bit more on the tyres? Long pit stop for Greg as he's refueling. And while that's happening, Propane in 10th at the moment. He's in the Lamborghini, comes around the first corner, and another car that gets claimed by the grass, but he didn't actually. I thought he was going to keep it out of the wall. He did catch the wall, but he's lucky little bounce off it, and he's managed to keep going. Greg's still in the pit. As Greg comes out of the pit, he's then going to have Propane just in front of him. So I don't know whether that was useful for Greg to come out and have a car that he could catch up with and slipstream, or whether that has hindered. Any which way, at the moment I'm out front. Danny 84 in second, Hulky in third now, Kustanov in fifth, Oldtimer sixth, Rita in seventh, and Nick's in eighth. We'll not be able to see many of the mid runners, but you can see that Rita, the host of this race, going well in seventh. Welsh boy hard on the brakes for the chicane. He's now going to head up the hill, but I dive into the pits. I did decide. Greg had come in, and I was thinking, do you know what, that front tyre's looking a little bit iffy. It was going to be completely burnt out by the end of the next lap. So I erred on the side of caution. Lap 8, 1 lap behind Greg. A long wait for the fuel to go in, and I at least know that the Mazda's going to be chewing its tyres, and I have got the ability of having the tyres being a bit fresher for the last sector. So we lose the racing softs and on this one, and we jump on to, I believe I was on the racing mediums. We'll know as soon as we come out, but you've got Nix is pitting, Hulky's pitting, so lots of people started the race on softs. I think that was because of the cautions, and as we come out of the pit, you can see that I am indeed on those medium tyres, which I hope will take me to the end of the race. But as I say that, Greg White gets alongside, and I have to be very brave into the first corner, just bouncing across the curb, just risking everything to try and keep my nose just ahead of Greg White. I think if Greg had got through, I'd have been in trouble, and at this point he would probably have run away. So now I'm going to try and encourage him to burn out his tyres quicker than me, so that towards the end of the race maybe my tyres might be a little bit better. So I'm going to try and look after my tyres. I'm going to load. I know that Mazda is hard on tyres. And at this point, Danny hits the front with Welshboy in second. Kuznetsov, I can't say that, I'm just going to call him Kuz. Kuz in third, as Danny dives into the pits now. So he has, and Kuz as well, both of those jump into the pits, probably to set the medium. It really, I think, seemed to be a soft medium race, this one. Although that was what I was thinking, but I didn't know what tyres people were going to be on. So we come across downhill to start lap number 9. It is Welshboy out front, Oldtimer in second, Rita's in third at the moment. You can see a couple of guys just exiting the pit as Greg has a look down the inside of me. Couldn't quite make that work. I just kept my foot in and thought, no, I'm going to get that one done. It's too risky going into that corner. You don't get on the grass, and I know that Greg is respectful. I know that he's not going to take a risky, silly move, but I've got to defend for all my life is worth right now, because there's nothing between us in this one. I was really feeling the pressure as we go up and over the top. We're going to come down to the all-important 2 right-handers. I've got Danny 84 in front of me, but I can see that he's got a 3-second penalty. Must have crossed the line in the pit. Oh, that has got to be soul destroying in a race that was so close as this. Welshboy first, Rita's in second now, Oldtimer third. We've then got Greg, Danny and me. Just on board with Welshboy now. He's leading, going very nicely in first place. That Audi looking really beautifully poised. But look at the tyres. Look at the tyres. Now I will admit to you, in the race, I didn't actually notice Welshboy pit I was further back in 6th, and I was really in my own battle with Propane at this point after getting past Greg. And I didn't actually realise that Welshboy had pitted, and I got really worried towards the end because Welshboy's going really long on these racing soft tyres. He's on lap number 10. I think Greg pitted on 7, I pitted on 8 or thereabouts. You had Danny coming in around the same sort of time, and well, Welshboy really making those tyres work. I pitted on lap 8, Greg on 7, Welshboy pitting lap 10. So kudos to Welshboy for making those tyres work. We're chasing down Propane at the moment. Although Propane is in 4th, he hasn't pitted yet, so a little bit out of position. At the moment we've got Welshboy out front, Old Timer 2nd, Tho in 3rd, Propane 4th and I'm 5th, Greg 6th, Cuz in 7th and Danny in 8th. And finally Welshboy does jump into the pits on lap number 11. The Audi mechanics go to work. Beautiful stop there. Old Timer's in as well. Look at this, everybody's on soft tyres. Thogi's in as well. And as Welshboy exits, where is he going to exit? Is he going to be in traffic? Is he going to be far ahead? Well, it looks like he's way out front as he exits the pits here. I don't know the distance between myself and Welshboy, but I'm in 3rd. I've still got Propane in front of me. I've still got to get that move done. We'll just join that little battle at the moment as we head down the hill, just following Propane. And I've got Greg White catching, and I'm like, I've got to get past the Hurricane, or the Hurricane's got to come in. But I didn't want to take a risk. I really didn't want to take a risk. I was thinking, he's going to have to pit very soon. I don't know what his tyre situation was like. You can see the concentration. You can see how close up behind Propane I'm getting through some of these corners. And we just got a little bit of a run on Propane out of that corner. As I said to you before, that's all important, getting a good run out of that corner. We did manage to get it done. Propane's tucked in between myself and Greg White, trying to get the slipstream, and we really are 3 wide as we sort of come down the hill. Propane taking a look down the inside, Greg White taking the outer line. Propane couldn't quite get that moved. I broke super late through there to try and carry as much speed as I could, and well, Propane goes around for another lap. So it is Welshboy in 1st, I am in 2nd, Propane 3rd and Greg White in 4th, and you can see just how close it is for 2nd place at this point. Welshboy just having the opportunity to run away. Whilst we're fighting here, that is giving Welshboy the ability just to focus on his laps and put qualifying laps in. And he's going really well. Just on board with Greg White now with the camera. You can see the tyres. They're wearing similarly to they were earlier on, but not as quickly because he's on the racing hard tyres. So the Mazda was super hard on the tyres. Greg erring on the side of caution to make sure that he can get to the end of this race on hards. We're on mediums, so there is a tyre differential in this one. I'm not sure what tyres Propane is on, and I'm getting so excited in this that my voice is going. But Propane had a little bit of a moment there, just pulling over to the right hand side. Greg White going through to take 3rd, so it is now Welshboy in 1st, I am in 2nd, Greg 3rd, being released from Propane in 4th to now close up this gap on me. He's going to have to make use of the hard tyres at this stage and just try and close up as much as possible. I don't know whether he knew that I was on the racing medium tyres. He could well have been aware of that. I wasn't aware that he was on the racing hard, so I'm going to be honest, I wasn't looking at the tyres that everybody was using in this one. But Welshboy going really well in 1st. He's got a nice lead at the moment. You can see at the moment I'm starting to enjoy this one as we go through the bends down to this really interesting left-hander. I love getting across onto the grass there, but being very careful not to get out on the outside, which will give you a penalty. You can see that my times aren't too bad at this stage. Best lap a 1:26.555. Lap number 4 was a 1:26. We then dropped to a 1:27 by lap 6. Then we had the pit in and out, which dropped us a bit of time. And since the pit, we've done a 1:26, 1:26, 1:27, 1:26. So not going too badly. And for me, those aren't bad times. But you can see that Welshboy is just pushing on. We're on lap 13 at the moment. So a little over halfway through the race on this one. Welshboy pushing on, and I'm pushing just as hard. Greg pushing hard behind me. I thought I was going to dive in the pits there, and I just had to take a moment looking at the replay there. I thought, what are you doing there? But no, of course, we have already pitted. No need to pit at the moment. I'm just trying to use as much track as I can at this stage. Just using all of the inside of that corner there as we go up and over the top, being very careful not to jump this yellow patch on the inside too much. Hook up the curbs through here and down, just ride in the curbs, run along this one, watch for the left-hander, get up through a little bit of the grass, being careful not to go too wide, and then we'll drift back across to the left. We're going to be watching out for the black mark at the bottom here. It's where I brake, hard on the brakes, down into third, second for this one. Hook it up, get on the power on the exit to try and get as much speed as we can up the hill. This long straight is the place where we can close up on Welshboy if there is any chance. But he's out front and he's still running really well. No penalties, no nothing at Audi. Looking super poised as we come down towards the chicane. He stays out to the right hand side. We jump on board with Greg White. Greg's tyres now looking a little bit worn, I have to say, for the racing hard tyres. I didn't think that they would be wearing that hard. Brake discs glowing red as we come over the top to start lap number 15, just hooking up the inside, letting it drift out to the right hand side. Welshboy, lights ablaze in the dark at Michelin. He goes up and over the top to enter the downhill curves. On board with Greg White now again, just looking at those tyres all the time. He's got next to nowhere on the rear tyres, but the front tyres, oh my goodness. Plenty of fuel for Greg. I'm okay with fuel as well. My tyre's not looking too bad. The front left wearing a little bit, so just got to be a tad careful. You can see me glancing across there, just keeping an eye on how things are going. Just a concentration, my face. God, the faces that I pull when I'm racing, I hate looking at myself on these replays. Not talking, absolutely quiet, just checking the fuel there very, very quickly, getting back on the radar to make sure that I am ready, but yeah, just checking some of the settings on the long straight to make sure everything's okay, make sure we're right on the fuel. Hard on the brakes, getting it turned in, just catching the inside of that corner, the inside of that one. I got a little bit wide on that one, which pushes me up onto the curb a little bit more than I would like to have done. Just taking a deep breath as we go through there and just hooking up that nicely, drifting out to the left-hand side. And we're 3.8 seconds away from Welshboy now. 4 seconds Greg is behind us, and I'm very, very much aware of the lap times at the moment. So 3.8 to Welshboy at the moment, and I'm thinking, am I really going to be able to close up 4 seconds? Thinking about the tyres, wondering what tyres he went on, because we know he went really, really long on the soft tyres, did Welshboy. I'm assuming that he's gone mediums, and I'm on mediums as well. I know that Greg is on the hard tyres behind, so I'm a little bit minded as to whether my tyres are going to go off quicker than the hards, and that is going to give Greg an opportunity towards the end of the race. But Welshboy was the one I was concentrating on and focusing on at this time, thinking, you know, did he pit? Because I've just remembered at this point I'd forgotten that he pitted. We know he's pitted. So, you know, at this point I was thinking, am I in this for first place racing Greg White? or am I in second place racing against Welshboy? And I remember as we got to lap 16, I was thinking, he's got to pit. How much longer can he own those tyres? Was he on the racing hards and he's going to go on for a last minute dash at the end of the racing softs? All of this was going through my head at the moment, and I'm thinking, have I missed a pit stop? Does he need to pit? You know, we're coming down to start lap 17 now. Well, we have actually started lap 17, so I go down the hill for the S's, and you know, 17, he must have pitted. He must have pitted. And I remember thinking, with coming up for 5 minutes to run, and I had the realisation, and I remember this distinctly as we were going up the long straight, that he has already pitted. He must have pitted. So I realised that we've really got to go on it. You can see me looking across just to check everything, and just looking everywhere, looking at the track map to see where people are, looking at the times to see how my times are going. And this was where the realisation dawned on me. You can see my chin just dropped ever so slightly there, and I'm thinking, no, 5 minutes to go. He must have pitted. If he doesn't pit this time, then I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. 3 seconds, so I've made up about half a second. Half a second is not enough with the amount of time that we have left. I'm in the 127s. Really pleased at this stage. I mean, I've a 127.1, a 127.4 and a 127.2 on the medium tyres. And I was pleased with that. So you could see how much I'm pushing on and just trying so hard to close up. Greg White behind me as well, but I did notice that Greg was a fair bit of distance behind me now. I didn't know whether he was in a battle with Cuz or whether it was just those tyres. But again, looking at my tyres, I was thinking, this is not looking too good. We've got a good few laps to go here, and I was hoping that we were going to be short on laps rather than long on laps at this point, because I'm having to keep pushing hard, trying not to slide the car through the corners. And at this stage of lap 18, my headlights finally picking up the yellow of Welshboy ahead. You can see I'm checking the fuel, I'm checking the brake balance, I'm checking all of the settings just to see how we are doing. We're okay on fuel. I had no clue at this point how Welshboy was doing on fuel or tyres, but I'm very much aware that my tyres may well not last here. Closing up under braking. Looks like Welshboy is sandbagging here big time. We're able to close up massively. 1.4 seconds into the chicane, and it's just hovering around that 1.4, 1.5 at the moment. Greg White 6 seconds behind. So at this stage, I'm not too worried about Greg. I know I've got the pace. I know he's on the racing hard tyres, so he could be closing up towards the end of the race. But the time is running out now. 6 seconds to make up in a couple of laps is going to be quite a tall order. And as you can see there, I am just glued to the back of Welshboy's car, whilst also watching every single corner. I'm trying not to race the car in front, trying to race the track as Welshboy goes a little bit wide on the exit. I had a great exit on that corner and managed to get out into the lead. We've got to be really deep and clever and brake hard through this one. Oh, we just switched back to Welshboy, so you can't really see how I was doing there, but Welshboy's fuel is flashing away, and his tyres, he's on the racing soft. He's gone soft. I think he was on the soft. He's gone soft in that Audi. Oh my word. So those tyres really starting to complain a little bit now. I can't see what the gap is, but I think it's pretty much around about 1.5, 2 seconds at the moment. But he's got tyre issues. Welshboy's got fuel issues. Greg White, a little bit behind me, so I'm not worried about him too much. Come on, I want to go back on board with me and have a look and see what my tyres are doing. Greg White on the racing hard tyres. Yep, his tyres are wearing badly as well. Those racing hard tyres really not holding out on the Mazda. You can see that the rear tyres are fine. He's absolutely fine for fuel. No fuel worries whatsoever. but like me, he's got to be thinking, I've got to get these tyres to the end. And I'm almost hoping that lap 20 was going to be the end of this one. Hopefully we're going to jump back on board with me in a moment. We're just on board with Greg at the moment. As we go up the hill, he's going to come down to the two right-handers. He's going to be leaning on that tyre. You can see me in front. I can't give you the actual deltas at the moment, but he's clearly still pushing on. He's going to need a really good exit of this corner. That looked good. And oh, he's actually got Welshboy. I've actually overtaken Welshboy at the moment. We didn't actually see that on camera. Oh, yes, we did see it on camera. I'm losing the plot here, but nearly 4 seconds ahead of Welshboy now. So I was able to really pull away. Just still watching those tyres, racing medium tyres. It's such an exciting race, and it's all coming back to me. I can't remember what's been going on, but we've got Greg Ball. I'm leading, Welshboy in second. I'm leading by some 5 seconds, so really being able to stretch the legs. And unfortunately, we did push it to an additional lap, even though I would rather have not done. I didn't want to back off and try and play the game of just crossing the line with 1 second to spare, because Welshboy was pushing and I didn't know, oh sorry, Greg White was pushing, and obviously I didn't know the state of play with the tyres. Everybody else finished on that lap. It's just the three of us that have got to do the extra lap. I'm out front at the moment. Welshboy in second, Greg White in third. We're just on board with Greg White at the moment, chasing down Welshboy. Remember, Welshboy's tyres have gone. As we come to the line, I'm going to come across the line. Well, jumping around load pace. We're back with Greg White because there's all sorts going on here. Greg White right on the back of Welshboy. Don't know where to look with the cameras. Oh, Welshboy on the grass, just into the long straight. So that has given Greg White a run up the hill. Welshboy just leaning on that tyre a little bit too much. It drifted out a little bit wide. Greg White says, I'll have some of that, thank you very much. And it's me, Greg White and Welshboy, your 1, 2, 3. Everybody else has finished. Just jumping on with me to come across the line to finish this one. Some 6 odd seconds ahead, about a lap of fuel left. The fuel blinking, but you can see how the tyres were worn just as I came across the line there to take first place. Greg White comes across the line to take second, with Welshboy tight behind. And again, everybody really watching for the tyres. This is the replay. They stand for practically superb racing. I've just decided. Oh my gosh, where's Greg? Oh no, this is going to be a nightmare. Come on, don't bin it, don't bin it, don't bin it, don't bin it, don't bin it. Don't bin it. Yes! Oh, get in there! Whoa! Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sorry.